Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And you may have had a little bit of trouble reading it because it is orange on clear on now. You can see this sort of light beige behind it. If we put a white point there, it reads a little bit better. But even so with, the red of the sauce here, it's very thick glass. Look at how thick that glass is. This is crazy. Like this bottle, it's got embossing on the side. I don't know if you can pick that out, but Stuzzi on the side. It's probably going to be easier to read. It is made in Italy and led by wolves. I don't know how they tested that. So how did you test that it is led by wolves? How? I want to know. I must know. I must know how that came about. The idea of wolves loving hot sauce, I think, is a really fun conceit. I like that. It came in this attractive box. You can see the Stuzzi will appear on the side of it with the embossing. It's got a lot of commentary here. We'll look at that actually in a second. It's made in Italy, manufactured for Stuzzi. Made in Italy. I don't know if they're doing it themselves or somebody else. It's a rare blend of, the colors that they choose, I don't know. It's a rare blend of dried and fresh peppers. So there are, and their hot sauce has most perfect form. That is probably pushing it. You can see Stuzzi's got the wolf head here. There's some text here. I can't quite make out what it says though. Made in Italy, I think. So we got the ingredients here as well. We'll just read them off the box. It's a little bit easier to see. So we've got distilled vinegar, chiles, and salt. And I wouldn't say it's the best hot sauce ever. The chilies in here are a Italian cayenne and Campanian. And so not Calabrian. Calabrian are still, I think, better peppers, to be honest. Definitely I prefer them more. But I will say this is the first time I've had Campanians. And they're quite nice as well. Like, I obviously love this sauce quite a lot. You can see it's 3.4 ounces for the bottle. Easily over halfway through this already. This is a sauce that, like, it's a really great tasting sauce. It's a sauce I enjoy eating. And it has been fantastic on everything I've tried it on because there is a vinegar component to it for sure. But it is very, very chili forward. And you've got two great tasting peppers. You've got the Campanians, and you've also got the Italian cayennes. Like, great choices for both. So you can see it's got this sort of cologne bottle. Like, this glass is so heavy. It just, I appreciate that they tried to make a work of art out of the vessel. And I guess, like, here's the issue though, is if you pull the plug and you just try to rinse it out, trying to reassemble all that, I think is going to be challenging. So I don't think I'm going to keep this bottle, but I really like it. Like, this is one of the coolest bottles I think I've seen hot sauce ever packaged in. Now, for how good it is, I wish it was more than 3.4 ounces, though. But built-in sort of restrictor cap. Hopefully you can see it. Here's the sauce itself. Definitely a darker, richer, more, it's more of a reddish hue, I would say. And a lot of that will have to do when you use the dried peppers. I don't know which was fresh versus which is dried. That I'm not sure about. If I had to guess, I'm not even going to speculate. Actually, I'll just take that away. But I think this looks just beautiful. It's a gorgeous sauce. This is another one that came to my attention because my buddy Barrel Shape did his own review on this. And anytime there's something on there that I'm not familiar with, I like to do a little looking into it. And this one, when I looked into it and I saw where it was available, it's one I had to get on Amazon. But it was definitely well worth chasing down. It is a very, very cool sauce. And it is, by the way, about a bazillion times better than the finale sauce that I also had a review on, because this is a very pure sauce. It is just peppers, vinegar, and salt. And it looks gorgeous. It tastes really, really quite nice. And in fact, let's just get into it. Yeah, it's very much a flavor first sauce. You get just a really good dosage of those peppers. A tad bit of bitterness from the dried component, I would say. This is, and that might be coloring why I like Calabrians better, because there's almost never bitterness associated with those. They're one of my favorites. Fantastic pepper. But the Campanians are also, I will say, quite nice as well. It does a little bit of bitterness to it. I don't love that part of it. But the flavor is just, by itself, it's just not as good as Calabrian. I'm not going to say otherwise. But when you pair it with food, it just melds so nicely with everything. And I've had it on just a really fairly wide variety of stuff, because everything that I was eating, from ramen to the stuff we're going to have today to fried, shrimps and stuff, it has been just outstanding. And I really wish I had gotten, I don't know if there are bigger bottles, but if there are, I would have liked one of those. And I might do some looking around for this one. I've got a lot of other stuff on deck, so that might be a little bit later in the year, but I would not be averse to having more. I will say there is a little bit of a vinegar punch to it. It is not aggressive or anything like that. It is not abrasive, but it is there. And heat-wise, it is extremely minimal. I would say this is actually below a 1 for me, but it is probably, I rounded up when I did the written review, which you can check out, by the way, by following the link in the description down below. But it is a quite mild size. Very clearly, they're going for flavor, and I have no problem with that. It's always fun, like I've said numerous times. It's always fun for me to try new peppers I haven't tried before. And given how much I like other Italian peppers, this was certainly had a good lead in there. It was very advantaged coming into things. So I've got here, these are just some fried cheddar cheese curds. I did them up in the air fryer, of course. But it's interesting how this sauce works so well. It just plays so nicely with food, including just this, this cheese and breading. I think it is, I wouldn't say it's hot sauce in its most perfect form. I mean, I admire them. They're attempting to do that with the label copy. I wouldn't sign on for that, but I do think this would be an excellent gateway sauce. This is where you have a sibling or a friend or whoever that likes a little dose of heat but doesn't like hot sauce because supposedly it tastes like shit. There's innumerable examples on the blog, but you trot something like this out. This is, I think, a pretty impressive table sauce to have. It looks so nice too. It's so elegant. Usually when a sauce company spends that much time on the packaging, I get worried. Because this box, I'm not keeping it past today. I'm not keeping the bottle once I run this out. And it's on very borrowed time right now because I like the sauce so much. I've been flying through this. But, with all that packaging and stuff, this is going to wind up in wherever recycling goes. This, I don't know. I would assume it's probably going to wind up in the landfill because I don't think that they're sorting glass, but I wish they would. There is somebody in the area that does recycle glass, which is great, but it also costs money, which is not great. That's always the problem, I feel like, with a lot of recycling. I do think it's important, and I do it. However, I feel like they're double dipping. If they're collecting all this stuff and then reselling it, and they're charging me to pick it up, and then they're charging whoever they sell it to, and to me, that's not. And I know the infrastructure and it costs a lot of money to blah 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 for equipment. It just it just for what they want to collect it and do all this other stuff. I mean, I know they have trucks and they have to pay the staff and everything. I don't even mind that they're double dipping as a concept. It just winds up being a little bit too rich for my blood, I guess. Which I think is also a significant drawback to recycling to begin with. For a lot of us, extra income is not going to be devoted to the waste stream. And it's not fault of the companies. I feel like that is something that should be heavily subsidized. All right, we also got Stouffer's Ultimate 5 Cheese Mac. I will generally try every frozen mac and cheese I'll come across. Right now, this one I will say is probably none of them are good, but this is probably what I would say right now to me is probably the least worst. Not to damn it with faint praise, but I mean frozen mac, how good is it ever going to be? But this one is not bad. I can't say that I would say it's bad. It's certainly not great, but it is probably my current, I guess, if favorite is the right word, it probably is that. But I had to have some. I couldn't remember if I've had that on the show. Look at that. Look at how it just sheets down. Hopefully you can see that. But I don't know if I've had this one on any of the videos before. And I did want to, in case I didn't, but you gotta, this kind of thing, this is, I guess, closest in tone to Louisiana style. One of my all-time favorite sauce styles. And I felt like I had to have it with some sort of creamy dish. The reason I like this is that they have some of those lower moisture Italian cheeses. I think Romano and maybe Parmesan. The noodles have a slight bit of body to them. But the actual blend of the cheeses all together, they call it a signature 5 cheese blend, which is whatever. But there's obviously, with cheddar and some of those other ones, I think they came up with something surprisingly somewhat nice for this world. I mean, it's frozen mac and cheese. I think there's an upper limit to how good it's ever going to be. But this isn't bad. And oh man, does it work with this? Super nice. Even for that style, you can see it's just not super runny. It's not super watery. It is a little bit loose, but like everything in that style is. This one obviously has a lot of pepper content to it. Yeah, what can I say? It's lovely. Okay, so this is absolutely a sauce I would recommend very universally. Even if you don't like vinegar forward sauces, this one still has quite a lot of flavor to it. And if you use it in the right applications, I haven't found anywhere it's not good though, because it is nice and thick enough that it doesn't make things watery. I haven't tried it on pizza yet. I am going to do that. I actually have one in there waiting for me to try that. And I've got this much left of it. I did want to try to have it on a wing thing as well. I don't know if that's going to happen now. I mean, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's fine. And the reason I recommend it so much is because I would say it is one of the more accessible sauces that I think I've had. I think that's what they were going for too. Like there's this cutesy stuff here, made in Italy, loved by wolves. I really like. I'm sure you're supposed to just find it entertaining, but the way my stupid brain works is it gets literal, and I'm like, how Did you test that? I want to see videos of you trying to test it to see if it was loved by wolves. And did you compare it to other sauces? Probably they didn't. It's cute. It's fine. I don't mind. I don't care what they do as far as packaging, really, as long as it's not contaminated. And obviously, forms a nice seal here. This is just really, really excellent packaging. Probably some of the best packaging, especially for this style of sauce, I think I've ever seen. Credit where it's due. They obviously tried to present a very specific package, and it succeeded wildly. Like, nothing is left to chance here. But none of that matters if the sauce sucks. And this one is definitely not like that. Like, it is a fantastic sauce. This is a bottle, I would say, a wonderful. But like I said, it is also, because it is so accessible, that also means it is a little bit lower on the heat side. Again, most of the Louisiana-style sauces tend to run a little bit lighter in heat. That's not really the total intent. Most of the time, the intent is to balance the food with vinegar, which is fine. I love that. I'm all about balancing the different aspects of whatever the dish is. I'm all about that. But that is, I could have stood it to be a little bit hotter. I don't love this sometimes bitter notes you can get out of there a little bit, sometimes here and there. Eating it by itself isn't something that I've only done it once out of this entire bottle, because it is partially, I mean, it wasn't like fantastic in that. That's just part of what I do in the videos. I don't normally do that. And it's interesting to me, one of the reasons I do want to continue, and I will continue doing it, is because it's really fascinating to me to see what that flavor profile is by itself. And that's never how I use the sauce, of course, but it is always interesting to just see how it performs alone. Some sauces actually are better unaccompanied by food. Fortunately, that's fairly rare, but some are. This one is more the opposite. Like, I didn't love it by itself, but I have yet to find a food to pair this with that I have not liked. I have not found one. And so to me, this is definitely one of the more flexible sauces I've had in recent memory. But and part of that comes with making a great tasting sauce. And that part will take care of itself. That will go hand in hand. And like I said, if it's a great tasting sauce, that really makes a great gateway sauce too, because this sauce, I was thinking of ways to use it. And it's nice to have a sauce like this in the fridge, an old reliable, that you can just throw on and you know it's going to be good on whatever you have it at. So I think there's definitely quite a bit of value for this sauce. I really, really enjoy what they did here. I don't remember what I paid for it. All that stuff, a lot of that comparative stuff is in the written review, so I encourage you to check that out as well. These two things, the blog entries and these videos, are meant to be companion pieces. So definitely, if you want to help you check out the other, if you're interested in the sauce to that degree, I guess. But generally, also the blog review entries will come first before the videos. So you can also go there and get kind of a sneak peek at what might be coming up on the FOH series if you like what I'm doing here. But anyway, all that aside, yeah, I would say if you like hot sauces, if you care at all about this kind of thing, especially if you're much more flavor forward than you are for heat, this has to be on your radar. And we'll just leave it right there. So that was the Stuzzi hot sauce. In peace, to serve the flame.